Sisters, today we celebrate the feast of Saint Aloysius Gonzaga, and the readings of today reinforce the life of this holy man whose care for the sick primarily is coming from a deep interior listening to God. In the first reading, very interestingly, like our time, during the time of the people of God, a lot of the people were presenting themselves to be the true God. Like our time, a lot present themselves to be the true prophet, the true God, the true appointed Son or anointed Son of God. But in the first reading, very clearly, the God who is living, the God of the people of God, Israelites, made himself known and validated himself to be the true God through listening. It is the listening God who is a true God. In the first reading, the king of Assyria was challenging the people of God. Tell to your God that he will not be opposing us. But the people of God now rallying and trusting in him, the people prayed and said, Lord, listen to our prayer. Open your eyes to see our condition. And towards the end of the first reading, what validated, what proved to be the true God of Israel is that God is listening. It is when we listen that we become true human beings. It is when God listens that he becomes a true God. It is when a husband starts listening to his wife that he becomes a true husband. Truth is validated by listening. In our world, which is so noisy, we are once again reminded in the first reading of the day that if you hold the truth, that if you want to be true, if you want to be genuine, if you do not want to be fake, if you want to be closer to God, start listening. That made Saint Aloysius Gonzaga a true son of God, a saint. Before he would go to his apostolate, he would always spend a lot of time through interior prayer, listening to God. And that is why the gospel of today was very clear. Jesus was saying, do not give to the dogs anything that is holy, or do not give the pearl to the swine. In order for us to better understand this, during the time of Jesus, the dogs and the swines, the pigs, are considered to be unclean animals. And if you want to put down somebody else, you call them, you are a dog, you are a pig. Why? Because during the time of Jesus, they believed that dogs and pigs do not listen. They get so wild. They destroy. That is why Jesus is presenting to us the opposite of holiness is to be stubborn. The opposite to be a pearl in the kingdom is to be a close-minded individual. That is why Jesus invites us. If you want to be listened to, first listen. Jesus is inviting us for a listening revolution for us to be authentic. The end of the gospel says, the road that leads to life is narrow, for indeed it is not easy to listen. Before coming here, I passed by the office of the shrine office, and I met a beggar telling me that she is waiting for somebody else in the office. And I was a bit bothered because she has been there for quite some time. And when I went inside the office and I talked to somebody else, he told me, Father, she is always here every day. She's asking for something. And then after that, I went outside and I realized that perhaps the beggar, while she needs something, the deeper need of that beggar is somebody else who can listen to her story. And I just wasted a few moments about her story. I was not able to give something for her materially. But for a time, I listened to her. And when I listened to her, I knew something deep inside of her is being satisfied. And I learned a kind of a revelation of the true God in our midst. Karamihan sa mga tao ngayon, hindi na nila kailangan ang kausap. Ang mas kailangan ay yung taong makikinig at iintindi sa kanila. Sapagkat yun ang pagpapatotoo ng tao. Yun ang pagpapatotoo